Hello everyone, in this video I'll be ranking the Battle Master maneuvers in Baldur's Gate 3 on a tier list. Now, some of these are really great, and it gives the Battle Master subclass of the fighter some much needed crowd control, and what's nice too is it adds the superiority dice damage, so it's a 1d8 and eventually 1d10 of damage to its attacks with some of these, so that is actually really good. I see people commenting all sorts of different things on these, saying that some of them do different effects, so I just want to break this down and talk about what I think of each of these. Now, the first one we got is Commander Strike. Now, this doesn't actually translate very well from tabletop Dungeons & Dragons into Baldur's Gate 3. What it does is you use your action and your reaction, and then you target one of your allies, and they use their reaction to make an attack. What's bad about that is you're better off just making an attack yourself. Usually, where it's useful in Dungeons and Dragons is maybe you have a thief that can do a sneak attack, and you can use Commander Strike to make them do the sneak attack, but I'm actually going to put this in the F tier. I don't think that there's a reason to pick that over any of the other Battle Master maneuvers, so I just think it's not that good. I've tried it to no avail. It's not that great. Next, we got Disarming Strike. Now, this is actually a really good one because if you can knock a weapon out of the target's hand and take that weapon, you can pick it up, free action, they're pretty much useless. They'll go around punching you. So for that, I'm going to put it in S tier because it is extremely useful for a crowd control. Now, there is another option that I can compare to with the Menacing Strike here, but I'll get into that as we get through this list. Knocking a weapon out of a target's hand is extremely useful, though, and very useful in a lot of situations. So yeah, I'm going to put that in the S tier. Next, we got Distracting Strike. So what this does is basically you add your superiority die to damage, and then on top of that, it makes it so the next attack roll against this target has advantage. Advantage on attack rolls is awesome, but there's something like Tripping Attack, which can also give advantage on attack rolls for everyone. So this one ends up being a little bit better. Where this has benefit, Trip Attack, which is what I'm going to compare these two because they're very similar. Trip Attack, the target has to be smaller or larger, but that can be actually countered by using Enlarge. So you can make yourself large, and then every creature is going to be smaller. For that, if you don't want to set up, I'm going to put Distracting Strike, probably like B tier, maybe C tier. Getting an advantage on attack rolls is quite nice, especially if you have someone afterwards that doesn't have a very high hit chance like Great Weapon Master. This can give you the advantage that they need to help hit that attack. But Tripping Attack, I'm going to put up in the S tier as well, because being able to knock a target prone is huge, especially if you've set it up to be able to hit this pretty consistently. It's a really nice one to have, because giving advantage to everyone on your team for attack rolls is massive, and prone basically takes the enemy out of their turn. So, yeah, prone is really good. It's a great condition to inflict in Baldur's Gate 3. There's the reverberation builds that also take advantage of that, but I'm going to put that up in the S tier. Next, we have Fainting Attack. Now, this one kind of sucks because what it does is it uses your action and your bonus action to give yourself advantage on an attack roll. There's not many times where using your advantage or using your bonus attack or bonus action to get advantage. It's just not that good. I'm going to put it in the F tier because if you really want to, you can use this one here, which I'll get into, and it'll add the superiority die to the damage roll. So it's usually better to go with the other option there because the precision attack is going to increase your dice rolls on attack rolls. So it'll give you a higher hit chance than using up your bonus action, which you probably want to use for something else like rally or a whole slew of other things. So I want to put that in the F tier. No point in using up your bonus action. Next, we got Riposte, and I think that this is probably the best Battle Master maneuver. It's the first one I always take. Anytime that you can weaponize your reaction, that's huge. So, like Warcaster Feat is nice because it gives you Shocking Grasp as a reaction. And this is for anyone that misses you with an attack. You attack back, plus you add your superiority die to the damage. So potentially that does 1d10 extra damage with your Riposte attack back. That is extremely useful. So again, weaponizing your reaction is massive. We want to do that as much as possible because that's just extra damage that you're dealing outside of your turn. Next, we got Sweeping Attack, which this one stinks. There's only like one time in the game that I can think this is useful. The reason it's not so good is because let's say you got the weapon proficiency for like a great axe and it has cleave. Cleave's awesome and hits 3 people with the weapon's attack in a range, so you can hit multiple targets. Sweeping Attack doesn't really do that. It only does the superiority die of damage. So when you can first select this, it can only do 1d8 of damage. So it can potentially just do 1 single point of damage. That is just terrible. On top of that, it only goes up to 1d10. So at max, you're doing 10 damage to 3 targets, and that's at like the most lucky roll possible. You're likely to deal anywhere around 5 damage, likely. So not great. The only time that is good is when you're fighting multiple rats that have like 1 to 3 health points. Other than that, it's F tier. It's just not good. You're better off taking any other maneuver than sweeping attack, I would say. And if you really want a cleave attacker, go with the barbarian and take the tiger heart, because the tiger heart gives you a cleave that you can attack multiple times with, and it applies bleed. It's huge. Next, we got menacing attack. I would say menacing attack is S tier as well. I actually may move disarming strike down to A tier, because menacing attack gives frightened on the target, which also gives them disadvantage on their attack rolls, and on top of that, it locks them in place. So if you hit someone with menacing attack and they're just stuck in a place they can't do anything, bingo, that's what we want. Menacing strike's probably the most useful, and I would say of all the Battle Master maneuvers, this is the one you're going to want to use the most. It adds the additional damage, the 1d10 damage, but Frightened is one of the best statuses that you can inflict in Baldur's Gate 3. Prone is nice, but it does have some prerequisites where they have to be smaller or larger than you, whereas this is just straight up spook. You give them the spooktober. So putting that in the S tier because it's super useful, setting up menacing. Next we got the, this is the, what's it called, evasive footwork. This is not as good as it sounds. So what it does is it gives enemies disadvantage on attack rolls, which is awesome. I don't want to discredit the sound of that. Disadvantage on attack rolls is amazing. It ends till the end of your turn. That's where the issue arises, because you pick this and then you end your turn, it's gone. It doesn't end up moving over. Like whenever the enemies get to take their turn, they don't get disadvantage on attack rolls against you. It's only for like opportunity attacks. So you do that, run around, and their opportunity attacks will have disadvantage against you. So I would have to say it's F tier as well. It's just not one you want to pick, because yeah, if you get opportunity attacks, disadvantage is good and all, but you can still get hit with it. So it's not like you get invulnerability to opportunity attacks. It's just straight up not that great. If it lasted an extra turn like Blade Ward, then it'd be great. But nah. If it lasted 2 turns, you would have everyone running this, and it would just give everyone disadvantage, and you could actually build around it. But since it doesn't, it ends whenever you hit end turn. Kind of garbage. Next we have Rally, and I think Rally is also, I would say, an S tier. So it gives 7 temporary health points, or 8 temporary health points. Another nice benefit of Rally is if you have a teammate that went down, you can use this to bring them back up. So it's kind of like Healing Word. You can do it from 18 meters, and then they get temporary health points. So they have a greater chance of surviving. I think Rally's really good, just even for yourself, like rallying yourself. If you don't have anything to do with your bonus action, temporary health is always good, just survivability's sake. That's S tier for sure. Next we got the, this is the priest. I guess I'll go pushing attack next, because pushing attack actually I think is an interesting one to cover. So with pushing attack, one of the nice benefits of this is you can actually push someone off of a cliff and then they're done. So this can actually be a one-shot takeout. Similarly, shoving does a similar thing, but this will add damage to it. So if you're not successful with knocking them off where you want to knock them, you'll still deal quite a bit of damage. So some people prefer to shove. Some people prefer to just go with good old pushing attack, because being able to knock someone back is very nice. It kind of gives you that Eldritch Blast kind of feeling, which is really good. But yeah, I'm going to put it in the A tier because I think it is pretty good offensively. Next, we have Goading Attack. So Goading Attack is interesting because it's kind of similar to some of these others, where it gives disadvantage on attack rolls against anyone but yourself. So basically, it's trying to get the target to attack you. That sounds good and all, but if you inflict fear, that's going to give disadvantage on everyone and potentially lock them in place so they don't have really a turn. So I would say Goading Attack is okay. It could go C tier, B tier. I just feel like disadvantage on attack rolls, you're better off just doing Menacing Attack. Since Menacing Attack exists, I'm going to put Goading Attack in the C tier, because I can't think of a time that it would benefit us to go with that. Also, it doesn't really impact the AI, so yeah, you're better just using Menacing Attack pretty much every time. Next, we got Maneuvering Attack, and this is an interesting one. Where this is useful is, let's say you're trying to protect your sorcerer or your wizard or whatever, and an enemy gets past the defenses. You can attack the enemy with this, and then you get to give half the movement speed to one of your teammates. So, or you can give it to yourself and give yourself extra movement, which is kind of nice, but This is for those one-off situations where you want to get your caster out of damage range. So for that, it can be useful. I'll put it in the B tier because it has some usefulness, but just you're probably better off going with the other ones, like pushing someone away with a pushing attack even. Finally, we got the precision attack. So as I was saying, spending the fainting attack by using your bonus action, not that great. But this one's pretty decent, because if you're a great weapon master fighter using a two-handed sword with a low hit chance, this will give you your superiority die to the attack rolls. Now, I had a bunch of people comment on my videos telling me this actually adds to the damage rolls. It doesn't. It gives you a higher hit chance with your attack rolls. So attack rolls are when you make a roll to hit the target. This will increase it, and is better than fainting attack. So I would say it's B tier. It doesn't give you, so most of these will give you the superiority die as damage, so riposte, menacing attack, trip attack, they all give you that extra superiority die as damage. This one doesn't, unfortunately, so yeah, you don't get extra damage, just a higher hit chance. It's B or C tier. If you're a great weapon master, fighter, it's pretty good, but you likely have a high hit chance anyways, and you're better off just not using your superiority die. So there it is. Those are the Battle Master maneuvers ranked on a tier list. And I always love the discussion on these, so feel free to leave a comment below with what you think of these. Maybe I've made a misjudgment, or you have a different view on things. So I appreciate any and all comments regarding that. If you found this video fun or useful, please hit the subscribe button below, and I'll see you all in the next video.